Hey, okay, we're recording. Sean, it's all
Okay.
yours.
Yes. So thank you everybody for joining. I am so pumped up about having Jen Eden speak with our group today. She has been so much to me. Like she doesn't know it, but she's a coach for me. She's somebody that I see as a great mom. She's helped me on with some mothering tips and sugar. And then
Yes.
also, I feel like she's freed me up on some of my strict ways with sugar. And to be honest with you, once I met her, it just seemed like once I started to grab onto her method and let some of the emotional crap that we all hold on to as women, once I let some of those things go, I started to drop some pounds that I didn't even think that I was going to drop. And it's not always about pounds. I know that. So, but the big thing is it is about freeing up our space and letting those things come in that need to come in and letting those things go that need to go. So I am so proud because I know this is a really busy lady. She runs a really a cool method for women to become motivated about what they eat and how they interact with food. So I'm so proud to have Jen
Love
Eden.
you,
So
Sean.
thank you,
I
Jen.
love that.
Thank you.
That is such a beautiful personal intro. I'll just add to it if it's okay, because
Yeah.
I know when women say, oh, she's not some sage on the stage, she's really a guide on the side. So I'm 46. I've got 3 kids. They're 8, 11, and 13 in a week. I am a recovering sugar addict, an addict of a million things. I come from a family of anxiety and depression and bipolar and addiction up the yin yang. And so I've been doing this work. I'm going on 18 years now through the birth of children, which, as you know, if you can do anything through the birth of children, you're winning. And I am the founder of something called the Sugar Freedom Method. It's how Sean and I met. It's a culmination of 40 years of pulling it together and hiring every single person I know, but none for addiction, right? We never talk addiction, which we'll get into in a second, but for weight, for anxiety, for depression, for gastritis, for hemorrhoids. I can go all day. For profuse sweating, for TMJ. I was a very sick kid into my 20s, and I had an absolute addiction to sugar. And so through many trials and tribulations and hiring doctors and naturopaths and acupuncturists, oh gosh, tens of thousands of dollars. I know you all get it, NMDs, and you'll be on Pepcid AC the rest of your life. I was like, what? I decided to take matter into my own hands, and I created a 5-step method. That's how Sean and I met, to teach you how to kick and manage sugar addiction. So I don't teach to get off sugar, and I think Sean loves that. I teach the gray area of how to not be on a diet, because that's a waste, but how, with all due respect, not to go to hell with yourself and just binge. And so I teach how to reprogram the brain, and we'll get through all the steps. But my intention for today was for me to share the method and how it works in as much detail as I can, and for light bulbs to go off for all you, I love it, sisters breaking the bonds of sugar, and for light bulbs to go off and go, wow, this is an area I could improve on. And maybe that will get me that much closer to having more control of sugar in our lives. And I say that because, number one on my list to talk about today, we don't always think of it this way, but this is what I teach because it's the truth, that sugar is a socially acceptable legalized drug. And the problem we have with this is it's socially acceptable. So it flies under our radar of it could be a problem, right? We just blame ourselves. Oh, I should have more control. I will do better tomorrow. When the truth is, and I always use this example because it wakes women up. If you had a friend who knew they had, let's say, a cocaine issue, they said, gosh, you know, Raj, Sean, Andrea, you know, I took a hit last night. That's what we call eating sugar in my household. Would we say to them, oh, you'll do better tomorrow, start fresh on Monday? For cocaine, we would say what? Oh my gosh, go find a facility or a mentor or a coach who's been there to help you break that addiction, right? And so that's cut and dry. And even for those who know they have alcohol and it's a problem, right? There's AA. But And you have a mentor for life, yes, if you want to sponsor. But for sugar, we give it away when we're happy. When my kids were at the doctor's office, my kids like, please don't say anything. We're giving lollipops. When you're happy, it's a birthday. When you're sad, when you're frustrated, when someone passes, let's just give chocolate for every holiday. So what happens is there's a rewiring of the brain that needs to happen, that it is not your fault if you can't get off it. Why? Because it's a socially acceptable legalized drug. And studies show, this is the most amazing thing ever, that in rats, when one set of rats were given cocaine, no joke, Google this. I always say Google what I teach. The other were given sugar, and then they removed it, right? And then they gave them a choice of cocaine or sugar. You want to take a guess on what the rats preferred? It's incredible. White powder, also known as sugar, cane sugar, okay? And so the rats actually preferred that. And studies also show that the same part of your brain where cocaine lights up, gives you what I call a dopamine hit, cane sugar does the same thing. And I'm gonna say cane sugar, but I want you to know, for women who come work with us and what Shun has seen, I'm sure, I teach, you have to decide what kind of sugars affect you. Different sugars affect people differently, okay? And that's something you can experiment with, and what I do in the sugar freedom method. But cane sugar is the white stuff that I know affects everyone. No one is immune to that. And then there's the sugar alcohols, which I'll get into in a little bit, or you can ask me questions about that, okay? Shun and I said it's about 30 minutes, so I'll teach about 15, and then I'll give us, okay, about 15 for questions. But I'm talking cane sugar, the white stuff, but you'll also see you might have sensitivities to all kinds of sugar, all the healthy stuff they talk about out there. All right, so I want you to just think about that. Okay, so here's what I wanted to run by. It is my 6 pillars, for lack of a better way to say it, of how to dial back sugar in your life for those who struggle, which is pretty much all of us. I've never met anyone that said, I'm totally fine with it. Even my husband can have a cookie or two, which is impressive, but then he gets it in his chips. So don't let anybody fool you just because they're not eating the cookie or the ice cream. They have it in their wine. Women get this all the time. They come see me for a consult. They say, I'll talk to you because you mentioned wine in your stuff, but I don't eat sugar. Okay, well, wine is an alcohol, which is also addictive, and it's grapes, and it's giving you the same hit as cookies, bars, scones, ice cream, okay, all that stuff. All right, so here's number 1. I want you to think about, okay, good, there are 6. Stabilizing your blood sugar. I know you've heard this maybe with diets and other things, but I'm going to tell you now, those who skip meals and don't eat at regular intervals, it does not mean 5 times a day, but at regular intervals, your blood sugar, the sugar in your bloodstream is going up and down all day long. Okay, and when that is the case, not only does that totally support in a negative way becoming type 2 diabetic, okay, but what it does is cause you to have cravings for sugar. When you're crashing, that 3 o'clock thing I hear all the time, it's because your breakfast and lunch is not supporting the stabilization of your blood sugar, and then you're crashing at 3. Or you'll eat dinner and you'll go, have to have something, that monster from the cabinet, between 7 and 8. Sometimes, okay, it's not a definite, but this is what the method teaches, it's that. So just eating more protein and some fresh vegetables can help cravings. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, our gut health. So for those beautiful women out there who have lived, which would be all of us, had children, had antibiotics, stress of any sort, okay, that's all of us. We eat food all the time with chemicals in it. There's chemicals in the animal meat if you don't eat organic, okay? And so farm raised fish, same kind of stuff. You'd be amazed to see what they put in our food that they call food. And what happens is it destroys the gut lining. And if you didn't know this, our gut is the place where serotonin is made. People don't know this. I know because my parents were on antidepressants for pretty much my whole life. And it never fixed them. It never fixed them because their guts were out of whack. Okay, so they would bloat after meals. My dad always had bad breath. He never felt good. And so what happens is your gut health is out. And that's just what happens from living, especially women who come see me between 40 and 60-ish. That is actually, as Sean knows, who I specialize in working with, 40 to 60-ish. Because things go on in our bodies. I know if you're in that range, you're shaking your head like, yeah, doctors' tests come back normal and we don't feel great. And our bodies are putting on weight and we're eating the same, and we're over exercising, for lack of a better way to say it. And things aren't changing and we're feeling down. Okay, it's because our guts can be out. And you can Google things for gut health. There's probiotics. There's this kefir. Yeah, there's kombucha. There's things you can do for good probiotics. But I always say it's great to add, but how about we pull out? And in this case, the sugar absolutely destroys the stomach. It actually destroys the whole body. Truth is, cancer loves sugar. Let's just call it what it is. And it actually lives off of sugar. So those molecules, those cells in the body that are multiplying, for those who know what cancer is, it's just a multiplication. The cells don't die. I was a biochemist, can you tell? And so the cells don't die. And what happens is they keep growing and they live off sugar. So just knowing that you want to do better for yourself and your gut, just know sugar is tied to that. Okay. And again, there's stuff you can Google, but just know it's not just stabilizing blood sugar and it's not just gut health. Okay. This is a biggie, but it's module 3 of the method, and it's emotional eating. You know, when something bad happened, you tripped and oh my gosh, I had my leg caught in my bike literally when I was 7. I am sure someone shoved a piece of pie or a donut, or does Jen need a lollipop? Oh, what would help you? And you start to link comfort with sugar, right? Comfort with sugar. Now that is not an easy solution to fix, but I want to bring it to your attention because we're so quick to always just say, right, in diets, eat a better diet. And I watch women do this, paleo, keto, you name it. This Noom stuff, this Optivia, all this other garbage they sell you. And the truth is that there's many components. And one of them is this emotional piece, that sugar hits that part of the brain when we're feeling sad, and it gives us that hit like, oh, I'll be okay. And so what the method teaches, and you could start just thinking about from today, is how to have an emotional reaction to something and sugar not be your go-to, okay? Have an emotional reaction and then do something different. And I know, what, did she just say that? I did. It is simple, not easy. It is simple, yes, a simple concept, but it's not easy. But the truth is, when you put that into your arsenal as, wow, I actually have a choice when I come home from work, or see the grandkids, or I'm upset by something the spouse said, because Lord knows that just happens living with someone else. We don't have to go to a comfort. We can actually choose something else. And that is up to you to decide. The method always talks about take a bath, go for a walk. I love my tea, but it's something other than sugar to give you a hit that will calm you down. Okay, that's number 3. 4, this one is so many women who come see me are not sleeping soundly through the night. Okay, oh, I see faces there too. So if it's just a simple water thing, not sleeping, like, oh, I go to the bathroom a few times, very simple remedy. Stop drinking water 2 hours before bed. Drink it all during the day, and 2 hours before bed, stop all liquid. People say, oh my God, I'm going to be dehydrated. No, you're not. You shouldn't even be drinking at that time of night. It's not good for your kidneys. You can Google that. Drink it earlier, okay? Get in your water you want, and then sleep. Now, when it's not that, and it's hormonal, God bless us all, I don't like just making blanket recommendations, but you have to know you're not crazy. This is what goes on for us as women, whether you're in perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause, or somewhere in between. None of those things, and sleeping has been off. And what I'm finding is it's the body telling us we have to do something different. We can't be on our phones the way we were, television the same way, jacked up, working till 10 p.m., shut the laptop and just think your body between 40 and 60-ish is going to react the same, because it ain't. And I know that because I've been doing this 18 years and I see the same pattern over and over again. And so a body that's not sleeping is telling you find another way. And so I recently had that, and I was like, wow, I've never experienced this as I'm reaching 50. And I realized I had to do things different. It was more breaks. I take some melatonin. I actually tried some CBD oil that someone had recommended. I was trying some nighty night stuff. And I, thank God I started sleeping through the night again, but you have to find what works for you. And I'm going to tell you, it's just a body out of balance, and you will absolutely crave sugar when you're tired, hands down, because sugar, think about it, is artificial energy. So if you're tired, you're not always thinking I'm tired. It's just, oh gosh, I got to get the kids. I got to get the grandkids. I got to finish a shift. Oh my God. I have women who work with us who are ER doctors. I've got to get on a shift. What can I shove in to get me through from, 5 p.m. to 2 a.m. So I respect that we all have, our needs, but you have to know that sleep definitely affects. Okay. All right. I've got 2 more for you. So this is a biggie also. And this one I feel like is the easiest of them all. It's chemicals in your food. I don't know why we never talk about, but we don't. I do in the method. Chemicals cause cravings. Chemicals do what? Chemicals cause cravings. So module 2 of the method is about upgrading all your food. I would say for now, since you all aren't doing the method, but you're going to do your own version, especially with Shun's help, is to just use this scenario or this idea. And I love it because it's so friggin' simple. Anyone can do it. So get this. The less ingredients mean the less chemicals. Less ingredients mean less chemicals. So if you're picking bagels, or I said that because my kids eat them, they're organic and a better version. But when I'm in a rush and I know they want them and it's going to get the job done, and they know, that they're feeling okay to eat that white flour, I just read labels quick. I'm like, okay, it's 5 ingredients, 17 ingredients, 5 ingredients. You don't have to be a food, investigator and understand every single thing. You just have to know, makes sense, yeah? Less ingredients, less chemicals. And it is amazing what they will put in cheaper food. I can't say it any other way. A lot of times, the less money you spend, and, oh, this is on sale, read your labels. Okay, it's not really a sale, and you're not saving anything if you got to go to the doctor and pay a copay in 2 weeks because you don't feel good. You're just transferring where you spend your money. And in all seriousness, and I say this, I'm looking up, I don't know the last time my kids went to the doctor. One kid's been on an antibiotic, 1 of 3 kids, and they're 8, 11, and one's going to be 13 in a week. When I say they've never been on antibiotic, I don't pay copays. We actually never go to the doctor. I mean, ever. I don't even have a primary, well, I do now that I live in Flagstaff, I have a primary care because I thought I should get some blood work done. It's been a decade, but it is amazing when we pull out chemicals and we live a pure, happy, honest, high integrity life, and we clear up some of these emotions. The body doesn't get sick, and I don't over-exercise. I look this way because I take care of myself and I keep inflammation down. And this is all anti-inflammatory tips I'm giving you. But back to the chemicals in the food, and then one more thing, and then we'll turn it over, okay, for some questions if you want them. But chemicals cause cravings, and they destroy your gut lining, and they affect your health of your brain, okay? And it's something to be considered. It's not to be taken lightly. Chemicals cause cravings and really affect our health. They accumulate in our body. And I tell women this, if you're heavier in the hips and the stomach and in your thighs, not always, but I've been doing this long enough to know you've got a lot of artificial sweeteners in your body, okay? Artificial sweeteners are a neurotoxin. That's the stuff in diet sodas, okay? You can Google all this, always check the aspartame, the sucralose, it's in all the gums. The kids say, can I have gum? I can't find one. So no, and even the sugar alcohols like erythritol, maltitol, anything with an OL at the end is a sugar alcohol. Better than a sucralose or an aspartame. What's that other stuff? Oh my God, growing up, I can't remember the name. Saccharin, oh my gosh, they figured out that one causes cancer. But in the 80s, I was just down in that like, hey, saccharin, right? And so the same thing with aspartame and sucralose, that's that newer one, the OS. You have to know that that stuff is extremely harmful, and you got to pull it out, and you'd be surprised. Sometimes that alone will help your lower body shrink. Imagine, because it's not storing in places where we have a lot of cushioning. That's what God did. He gave us cushioning there. And it's storing there because it's a neurotoxin, and the body is so smart to know that it doesn't want to hurt us. So where can I stuff it that it'll be safe from hurting the body? Well, in the cushiony spots, the hips, butt, and thighs. God gave me enough of that, yeah? And so that's where it stuffs. Okay, and my favorite, and then we'll wrap it up and I'll open up. We have about 10 minutes for questions, is bad habits picked up as kids. Look, we always want to just blame it on the habits. There are 5 other things I just taught you that really do cause sugar to be an addiction. But there are just some things that we picked up from being a kid. My dad ate ice cream every single night. Watching TV, the man had ice cream or cookies. When? Every single night. And I remember when I moved out, he wasn't around anymore. And I was like, where are the cookies? You flip the TV on and I would salivate like Pavlov's dog. And I tell this story to women because they always chuckle, but we go to the movies and we always had something there. Twizzlers, snow caps, Reese's peanut butter this, popcorn more than I could shove in. And so what I didn't realize is that I had picked up that habit from when I was a kid, getting this dopamine hit while watching a movie. And after I got certified as a health coach, I was like, I can't eat this stuff. It's really hurting me, killing me, really. And so I remember the first time I went to the movies and I did not have it. I actually remember, I don't remember what the movie was. I remember the feeling. Oh, and I always had my soda. How do you go to a movie and not sip on something? Diet soda, and then I moved it to Coke, right? And I was shoving in popcorn with a sip of Coke. I was getting hits for like 2 hours. I don't remember what the movie was because I was so annoyed at the theater. I was like angry when I left. I was like, wow, that wasn't a good movie. And when I analyzed it, I wasn't getting a rush of sugar while watching the movie. And so the movie fell flat for me until I learned and unwired childhood habits of, you can enjoy a movie and the thrill of the movie is the biggest hit I need to get. But it took many movies before I unwired that I can sit there with a bottle of water and just enjoy the movie and not have to have that hit. So you have to know there's an unwiring that has to happen. It's real. And it's what we need to do to undo the brain, because Pavlov's dog, ring a bell, dog salivates, give food, and then we remove the food, right? And so we're still triggered. So, okay. So those are my areas that I want you to maybe pick one of those that is a nugget today that I could improve in this one area. That is what the method teaches. Yeah, it's not about perfection, it's about progress. And I'd love to open it up. If you have any questions, hit me up. And if you're on replay, Shun, we can just say for the week, if women have questions, you could throw me in for the week or a couple of days. I'm more than happy. If people have a question, I'd be happy to come in as a guest. It's helpful.
Oh, that would be great.
But right now, Roz, did you have a question? Or Andrea, or anyone who's on replay, please do that. I'm happy to answer a few questions before we wrap it up.
I'm wondering about the probiotics. Like I had surgery, a Roux-en-Y, which altered my stomach and my intestines. And I've often wondered about probiotics, how, to help with my stomach. Like I am a sugar. I love sugar. I love sweets, and I was doing really well, but I got off track. And I'm really trying hard to get back on, and I'm trying not to beat myself up. I'm trying to be kind to myself.
Good.
But I have that. If I have one, then one's not enough. And so I'm wondering about the probiotics more so than anything right now.
Yeah, most are garbage. You have to watch where you buy them from. The best ones are the ones that are refrigerated. I was thinking of, I use one Genestra. I get it from a reputable source, an online site. You have to watch where you get stuff, but you can look up a Genestra, Genestra. I know Renew Life, that's just a mainstream brand. She's refrigerated. I can't think of that beautiful woman's name, but Renew Life is everywhere versus Genestra is a more potent for me. So I recommend that for women in the method. But I want to say her last name is Watson, but Renew Life. And so that you can get on the shelves, but it's always should be refrigerated. I've never met a probiotic I liked that wasn't loaded with chemicals and fillers. Okay, it's amazing. You'll take a probiotic and they'll load it with, you'll just pass out from cane sugar and maltodextrin, natural flavors, magnesium stearate, and all these things that are actually hurting you. And the probiotic doesn't even work because it's not active. So you got to be mindful. And I don't know if you said that your probiotic bothered you. Did you say that like it didn't work?
No, I've never tried it before.
Okay, that's something to consider. Look up Renew Life. Her name is trying to come to me. I'm looking. His last name is Watson. Something with a B. Yeah, do that. And you want to start slow. You don't want to just destroy the gut all of a sudden and throw 60 billion. Okay, so you want to be in the billions. You want to be between like 30 and 50 billion. You'll see Brenda Watson. There's my girl. And so you want to be there. This 5 billion or 1.2 billion is an absolute waste of strands. But I will tell you, you don't want to overpopulate right away. So you do one at night. Yes. Let me see how your body does. Do one a night for a few days, and then you can add a second. I believe one in the morning, one at night, and we'll see what it does. But as you know, this is just a piece of it. So with Sean's help and the support of the group, get some tools to dial you back out, because it's an addiction. So there's nothing wrong with you. I have it too. I just teach how to dial it back out. Yes. Okay. I love that. And Andrea has a question on fruits and fructose. Let's see what Andrea said as well.
Thank you.
Currently, I eat a few berries seldomly. Okay. Oh, so hold on. Let's back it up. Electrolytes to your drinking water. I don't know why people add electrolytes. I find most of it is garbage. All these electrolyte powders, they're loaded with garbage. However, when I'm feeling like I'm not absorbing my water, I will absolutely throw sea salt, Andrea, sea salt in water.
Mhm.
It is, or Himalayan salt. I love the pink salt. I can't remember the name brand, but you'll see Himalayan or a sea salt, and it's loaded with trace minerals. I'll do it. I just like to go back to nature. What's as close to God as possible. And for me, God didn't make something in a package that I got to pay for. I can use the salt I cook with, sea salt or Himalayan salt. Okay, it's different than NaCl, which is really harmful to the body. It's just sodium chloride. Don't get me started on that stuff. Okay, that is hurtful. The multitude of minerals and vitamins in there. Okay, great. I love that. Good. She kicked an ultimate replenisher addiction. Nice job.
Yeah.
Okay, fruits and fructose. Let's see. So here's the thing. Let's just smile about fruit,
Yes,
because
right.
people freak out. Fruit, fructose, fruit. So if you're going to drink juice, you're in trouble. Okay. Think of it this way. It takes out all the fiber, all the vitamins and minerals, because you have to hit it at high heat to put it in, dear God help us, most likely a plastic container, which itself absolutely screws with women's estrogen issues. Okay. So no plastics. I always think of that. I always buy things in glass, number one. Number two, eat a piece of fruit. You're gonna eat a bagel or chips or wine, or you gotta have ice cream, eat a piece of fruit. Make sure it's organic, please. Okay, organic, so there's not the chemicals, but eat a piece of fruit. You know, and this is my take on it. There are others who say, fruit has fructose, which is the sugar in fruit. And I'm like, yeah, but I've never seen anyone die from too much fruit, unless you're blending it in a smoothie and you're eating 11 bananas or 52 strawberries that end up being this much in a smoothie. Well, then you're really hurting yourself. But organic, enjoy it. Yes. And so, Andrea, you can have it. What I find is I've never met a woman who says, oh gosh, I don't eat fruit, but then they're not eating other garbage. Usually we just say, I'm not gonna eat the fruit. And then you have your quote unquote bad days, but then you're binging on other things that give you a hit. So I have my fruit in the morning. If I really want something, it's my favorite. I love green apples, organic green Granny Smith. I love them. I cut them up. You want to do some raw nut butter or something organic, that's okay. A sunflower butter, enjoy it. But right, we're just keeping it real. Fruit is fruit. And there will be other people who will say no. And if you're diabetic, we got to talk about, right, what kind of fruit, because it will shoot up your blood sugar level. So if you're diabetic, type 2 or 1, and you're listening to this, you got to be mindful. But the berries are very low in sugar, okay? And the melons and others are not. So you got to keep that in mind. But I mean, I'm just keeping it real. Half a banana, eat it. What are we talking about? We're going to eat cookies and drink wine and hit popcorn and all this other nonsense. Eat a half a banana. I eat a half a banana at breakfast. Look what I look like. I love it every day. It's frozen and I eat it. God bless us. Yes. I also don't eat a lot of chips and garbage. I eat food. Okay. I love that. So we'll open it up if there's any last minute or anyone who's on replay. But yes.
I'm just going to say this, and every time I listen to you, Jen, I'm learning something. So it just resonated with me that, about the emotional reaction, you were talking about that. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I said, our relationship with food is so high school. It takes for us to step away and become like a little bit more cognizant. You're not going to backbite. I'm going to confront this thing for real. I want it to know who I am, because in high school we might be a little bit backstabbing, talking about people, right? Yeah. But in as an adult, you're gonna approach this thing as a big girl. We got big girl panties on with this food thing. So just made me think for some reason that you were just like, I was like, dang, this, it's the whole thing with food is so high school. Like I've got to treat my body like it's a woman now, And
That
so
is
I don't
so
know
beautiful.
that you said, but it made me think about that. One thing that Jen told me all, and it really has stuck with me, and I was bothered with constipation before, and we had this session, and Jen talks a lot about like, how do you get over a day that you've kind of screwed up? You've had sugar and you didn't want to have sugar, but you had it. But either way, we were talking about tips and just like how to make things better. How can I get my water intake in? And so we talked about tongue scraping. And you told me, like to make sure that I tongue scrape in the morning. And then eventually I started to drink my water and put it all in the morning. So for some reason I just couldn't drink water in the morning. It was like I needed it during the day, but I found out that it had a lot to do with me having that taste on my tongue that I couldn't get rid of. But anyway, after I adopted Jen's method, which is to tongue scrape in the morning, and then we were supposed to take in half of our body weight of water.
If not more. Yes, 100%.
Yeah. So, but anyway, I'm taking in more water, usually having to be in before I leave the house every day. So it's just one of those things that that has stuck with me. And I'm like, yeah, this is the time to share with it, others. So
100%. I didn't say that about the hydration. I'll add that next time.
Yeah.
But hydration, 100% is also dehydration causes cravings for sure, 1,000,000%. So just getting more water in, preferably filtered water. Don't get me started on the quality of water. I do the best I can with not stressing anyone out about all the toxins coming at us from our emotions, from the air, from our food, from the plastics. I mean, you could really go loony toony about it, and I'm not into that. I'm into, you have to also live, but just do the best you can with bottled waters.
Yeah. Can't
say enough about plastics, okay, affecting women's estrogen levels. It impacts our estrogen levels. Okay, it really does interferes, makes us look like we have more estrogen than we do. There's a lot of women who have estrogen-based cancers and stuff, and I'm not saying it's linked, but I think it's linked. Okay, plastic isn't everything, so I use only glass bottles, glass for all my food. I don't like to buy things in containers. And again, just something, small. Okay, we can go all day. I love this. All right, so give me some time. Get me in there.
Yeah, so here's a plus, y'all. And Jen has agreed to be in the group. So I'm so excited. So we've added you to the group. And then if you've got questions based upon this video or any other thing, just you can always say, hey, Jen,
That's fine. And if it's okay, let's say through the end of the week, that'll be good.
Yeah, so we appreciate your time, Jen, and your tips. They're with me and my kids for life. So I just love you and I appreciate you. Everybody that's listening and watching, I love you and appreciate you too. So thank you.
Thank you for making it live or on record. Okay, adore you. Feel good. You're welcome. Bye.
Thanks, Sean. Thanks, Jen.
Thank you all. Okay, bye.